it's that time of year again where I revamped my Notion page, and it's been about 3 years now since I've started using Notion. So I like to think I've gotten pretty good at it. The situation is still pretty much the same. I'm still in university, just in my 3rd year now. So my Notion tracks a good mix of school stuff as well as personal life. If you have my template from last year, which is what I was using when I started out this year, you'll find it similar, but I worked to improve it in terms of usability. So if you have no experience with Notion, I think you'll be able to adapt to this layout pretty easily. Let's get into it. This is the main layout, to-do list on the left, main pages and calendar in the middle, and I put the pages for my classes on the right, since I have to access those pretty often. I chose to limit the length of the main page, so that you can see everything at a glance. I just find that having to scroll around feels untidy and inefficient. Okay, first up, the to-do list. I saw a template using the Eisenhower matrix, which I thought was pretty cool, so I integrated it here. You can type what you need to do and tag how urgent and important it is. And the table has a sorting function that puts the most urgent and important task at the top. This is just to spice up your to-do list and give it some structure, so you're not just staring at a whole laundry list of things to do. Also, because it's something you interact with a lot, I put it on the left so that that's what shows up first on your Notion page, if you're using Notion on your phone. Okay, now let's move on to the main part. These pages here are basically different categories of your life. You can of course add on more as you see fit. The first one is my academics tracker, so basically school stuff. On the left, it's pages for your classes for the school term. These are actually the same pages as the one on the main page. They're linked. On the right, simple tables for your exams and assignments, which are also linked to the calendar on the main page. And it calculates how many days you have left to the deadline. You can view your classes in table view too, and I've put a simple GPA calculator here, just because my uni gives letter grades and I can never remember how much they are in terms of GPA. Inside each class page, you'll find a template for flashcards. This is for spaced repetition. Personally, I use the app RemNote for flashcards because it has a far more elaborate system, but this is if you want to keep everything in Notion. It's separated into 3 columns. On the left, your notes divided by topic, in the middle, the flashcards, and on the right, it tells you what cards need revising. Just to illustrate, I use some of my psych notes as an example. So the idea is that you type your class notes by topic in the pages on the left, and then make their corresponding flashcards in the middle section. You just need to click New, type in the question, assign it its topic, and then type in the answer. If you're making flashcards for one topic at a time, which you most likely will, you could just filter the flashcard section by topic, and then all the flashcards you create will automatically fall under that topic. To revise your flashcards, you'll basically need to test yourself by checking Show to see the answers, and drag them under their respective levels of difficulty. Every time you edit a flashcard, it updates the timestamp in the right column, and this section here is to tell you what cards need revising. It's filtered for all cards that haven't been mastered yet, and you can filter to see cards that were revised yesterday, a week ago, or a month ago. And then just keep testing yourself until your cards are mastered. Oh, and once you get a flashcard under the mastered section, it counts towards this progress bar for each topic. So it kind of shows your learning progress. Okay, that's that. Moving on to the goals tracker, this one's pretty straightforward. So presumably you'd start out with a big goal. Example here is to learn Japanese. So you add your goal here on the left, and break it down into actionable steps on the right. So say you have to finish a course you've selected, do some practice worksheets, and then finally take the N3 test. This is of course oversimplified. Then you'd assign these tasks to the overarching goal of learning Japanese. When you've completed each step, you can check it off, and it will reflect your progress in a bar here. Moving right along, this is the mood and habit tracker. It's exactly what it says, so I've put a bunch of buttons here for whatever mood you might be in. For example, if your mood is neutral, you click the button here, and it will automatically create a page with the mood emoji and checkboxes for all the habits you're tracking. And a progress ring will fill up as you check off your habits. You can of course change the habits in table view, and if you want to add more habits, the easiest way is to duplicate an existing one, then edit the formula for habit progress by copy and pasting one of these. Just change the property in the brackets, add one open bracket here, and change the number here from 5 to 6, so basically the total number of habits. If you'd like, this page works just like a journal. You can write down your thoughts of the day in the days page. You get to see all the colours at a glance on the calendar too, which I think is pretty neat. On the left, these pages count the number of entries of your respective moods. If you are using this for a new year, you may want to filter for the year only, and you can do that here. You can change the emojis of course, just edit the page emojis first, then edit each of the buttons and change the emojis there. Okay great, that's done. This next one's my favourite, it's the show tracker. It's a pretty simple layout, kind of similar to the mood and habit tracker. Buttons here for either a new movie or TV show, and there are different genre pages here that count how many shows of each genre you've watched. On the right, it's a gallery view of all the movies and TV shows you've watched, and a straightforward table of everything. So if you're adding a new movie, just click the button, and a new page will pop up. You can add the title, the date you've watched it, assign it the genres it falls under, status, cover image. I usually Google the movie and copy and paste an image address here. Oh, and ignore the number of episodes, and then fill in the rating when you're done. It's basically the same thing for TV shows, just that you have to fill the number of episodes too. You can also adjust the dates to show the period of time that you watched the series. I like to use the pages to note down my favourite episodes. You can also add more genres by just making more pages on the left here. And this is how my own show tracker looks like so far. For the reading tracker, it's basically the same thing. I just split it up into to read, reading, and read. And you can just add a book under the current reading status and fill in the title, author, cover, date, genre, and rating when you're done. I added a little counter here just for fun. It's an Identify widget, and you can count, say, the number of books you've read for the year. And next is the applications tracker. This is probably the most useful if you are a university student like me. So I always find myself signing up for lots of things at once, like internships, clubs, teaching assistant positions, things like that. And this helps me to track the details like the commitment period, the Zoom link for the interview, relevant files, any notes, and its status. Ideally, you'd first enter something you applied for under applications, then drag it under its corresponding status throughout the application process. Then, you can drag the page under commitments and it will show up on the timeline here too. So you can visualize all your commitments on a schedule at a glance. At the side, I've also added some things you might need for your applications, like your resume, your elevator pitch. Like when you get asked, tell me about yourself, I usually prepare a standard introduction. And of course, you can prepare for some common interview questions too. Moving on, we have the expense tracker. I've downloaded a bunch of expense trackers previously to try and find the best way to organize things. But eventually I made this one for myself because it was easy enough for me to understand and use on a daily basis while calculating everything I needed. So let's break it down. 3 columns. On the left, it shows you how much you've saved for each month. In the middle, you have your wish list on top, kind of motivate you to save. And then below it, a table to calculate income and another one for expenses. On the right, you don't really need to touch it, it's just there to show you your spending behavior by month and by year. So say you're starting the new year, you first go to the left column. It's easier to visualize in table view, so let's do that. And then set your savings goals for each month. I think there's some general 40-30-20 budget rule to go off on. I think it says that you should save 20% of your income every month. Anyway, it's up to you. Other than that, you don't need to touch anything else on this table. Then, go to the right column and set budget goals for the year for each spending category. Then, you'll want to fill the in and out table by the month, in this case January. This just means that anything you add to the tables will automatically fall under January. And then add in your income expenses accordingly. For expenses, you can also assign them to categories, and that updates the elements on the right. For categories by month, just change the month filter accordingly, and you can just close these toggles because the number here totals up everything under this category for the month. And the categories by year will also update accordingly, and the percentage bar will fill up the closer you are to using up your budget. Oh, and you can just add a new spending category here if you like. The next one is exciting. This is a new planner layout I came up with for traveling. Okay, so for a new trip, I usually name it after the location, then enter the duration, budget, and give it a cover photo. You don't need to touch the rest, that'll come later. Then, plan for the trip. Just break it down into different tasks, like booking tickets and hotels, and assign it to the trip you're planning. For this example, it's Japan. Likewise for expenses, enter them on the table on the right, and then assign it to the trip as well. As you complete the tasks and check them off, your planning progress will be reflected on this bar here, and the total cost of the trip shows up below. I added a general packing list on the left for easy reference, and this entire page is basically just for pre-trip planning. To plan the itinerary, go into the trip page. This is essentially for all the things you need to reference during the trip. You have a section where you can list all the attractions you want to visit, and you can drag them into your day-by-day itinerary. You can enter the day's tasks here, and any notes and files here. For instance, say e-tickets for Disneyland. As a bonus, I added an outfit planner here. You basically assign clothes for each day, and add a photo if you want, and you'll be able to visualize them along with your itinerary. Okay, we're nearing the last page. This is the content planner. I designed it based on how my content ideas develop from just ideas all the way to posting. So say if I have an idea like a back to school vlog for Instagram, I'd add it here. Maybe write details in the page, like what shots I need to take for the vlog, then drag it along the blog as I get through filming and editing, all the way until it's ready. To assign posting dates, you just need to drag it to the calendar here, and you can check it off once you've posted it already. I found this to be the most effective way for me to visualize all my ideas and posting schedule at once. Lastly, we have the filing cabinet, which is a really straightforward list of lists, and it helps me to keep whatever ideas I have all in one place. That's settled. Oh yes, this is the master calendar. It lets you see all your assignments, exams, and tasks in the same place, either in monthly or weekly view. I actually only use the task section for my exam study schedule. Most of the time I just use my to-do list. So for instance, nearing finals week, I'd be able to see when my exam dates are and plan my study schedule on the monthly view. So just add a page, label it something like flashcards revision, and assign it to the task database. I'd usually add a whole bunch of tasks across the weeks to prepare for finals, and then I'd use the Today's Tasks tab and focus on moving tasks from the day from not started to done. Okay, finally, if it's the new year and you want to start everything afresh, you can just move these pages to the filing cabinet page here and start a new page and choose the template you want. Okay, I'm finally done. I'm really happy with how my Notion page turned out, and I've been designing it and adjusting it over and over again as I use it, just to make sure it works the way I like. And honestly, it kind of helps make me excited for the new year and the new semester at uni. So if you're a student too, I hope you found this useful or maybe good inspiration for your own Notion pages. I've uploaded this as a template on my coffee shop if you're interested, and I have a bunch of free Notion photo packs too, which are basically photos for your pages and icons to make your Notion pretty. Okay, that's all. Bye for now.